fine now.
All right. So the jam that I'm making is a raspberry jam. It is there's no preservatives in it. So meaning this will last you about 2 to 3 weeks at most. But the method of making it is really simple. It's just dumping everything in our pot, well, not our pot, our skillet or saucepan. And we're going to start off with 283 grams of our berries of choice. If they're large, you're just going to go ahead and cut them up. And then our sugar, I like my jam particularly sweet. So I'm using 100 grams of sugar. And then we're going to come in with our salt, which is 1/8 of a teaspoon, and our lemon juice, which is 28 grams of lemon juice. And we're just going to go ahead and start that on medium heat. And don't worry about the juices. Your berries will cause more. I don't like the raspberries large, so I just go ahead and mash them with my whisk. They will get softer as they cook. Do you have any questions so far?
No, I'm good. I like how your mic like mutes it, or you're muting it, or something's happening, but you're making noises, and I don't hear it.
So is this over high heat or medium high heat or what?
This is medium heat. Specifically, if you have an electric stove that goes 1 through 10, I use 5. So directly on the medium. Once you get it incorporated, if you're a little impatient, you can always turn up the heat. But I just strictly recommend medium to medium high. If you want to add in any additional flavors, like if you like spicy jams, you can always add in peppers of your choice. Just make sure to keep in mind of the heat and always try to balance it out. You don't want it overbearing. So something like a raspberry jam, if you want heat to it, don't go ridiculous and put something like a ghost or a scorpion pepper in this. But you could use something like I would say just regular chilies if you want something like heat. But raspberry is really nice by itself, in my opinion. But as a flavor boost option, I'd recommend something like ginger, cardamom, clove, or nutmeg.
What about vanilla?
Vanilla is nice. I've tried it before with vanilla. just be careful with how much you add because vanilla is overpowering, especially if you use fresh vanilla. What I would do is if you actually get fresh vanilla is take the beans from the pod, not even like all of them, but like maybe a quarter to half and put them in this. So that way it's not too strong, or you could just infuse it with like a quarter of the beans and the stock. If you don't have that, I would suggest about 1 teaspoon of the extract. This type of jam is super easy, super fast to make. Once you get it to simmering, that's about when it's done. And all you need to do to check that is get a spoon, put a little bit of it on the back of it, and wipe it off. I'll show you once it's about done on my end. So what I have here is I just have a large measuring spoon because I want y'all to be able to see it, but just kind of dip it in there. And then that's the consistency that you want where you wipe it off and you can visibly see it. I don't know if y'all can see that or not. I know I can't because I'm colorblind. But that is our raspberry jam and it is complete. I can make sugar-free ones for y'all to see, or I can take questions.
So I'm helping with Feast and I'm gonna be doing breakfast and I'm wanting to do homemade jams like that. Would you mind showing me the sugar-free? Because I know a few of our players need that.
Yes.
I would like to as well, as someone who would like sugar-free things.
All right. Let me go ahead and get this bowled up and I will be back. So the only sugar-free sugar I have, please bear with me, is Splenda. I know it's not very healthy for diabetics, so keep that in mind. But you always want to play with your sugars, mainly to see what it needs. Don't ever serve something if you haven't tried it. That is a big rule. If you're afraid to serve it to someone, don't serve it to them. Try it yourself. Make sure it is 1, healthy, 2, safe to eat, 3, of course, edible. You don't want someone to bite into something or eat something and it's horrible, not edible, or just absolutely disgusting or dangerous to their health or diet. So for the sugar-free version, I typically use about 46 grams of Splenda. That is as bitter as possible that I can get it with it being edible, in my opinion. You can always get safer sugars, more natural sugars, like agave syrup is really nice. But agave syrup is much more denser than Splenda. Splenda is air. It's not even coarse like sugar. I see a worrying look from Miss Kelly.
I'm good. It's good.
Okay. The moment I said Splenda, she was like, "Oh no, Splenda."
No, Splenda's good for me. It's better than sugar.
Oh, okay. Most people that I know, Splenda is horrible to them.
I like it much better. I mean, it's better for me than sugar, and I like it as much as I like sugar, I think. I use it for my own cooking and stuff, so I really like the brown sugar blend that they have.
Nice. If you always like sweeter things, I would recommend highly adding more sugar-free sugar. Just make sure it's one that it it is able to be used with your recipe, and two, it's not just like, because Splenda is so light, the moment you get to 100 grams of Splenda, it's gonna look more like 20 grams of sugar.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind.
Do you have any other berries besides raspberries that you like to use?
I like to use pretty much everything. For this recipe, it's pretty much just a go-to. Mainly because I have a big batch of raspberry jam that someone wants made by me. But the recipe I'm using is strictly like, it's only using weight, so you can use any berry. So if it's strawberries, you can still use strawberries, but 283 grams. Blueberries, 283 grams. I just mainly got what was available to me at the store, and a large order was requested by someone.
What kind of containers do you like to put it in?
Mason jars are my most favorite. They're airtight and they help preserve it to 3 weeks at most.
Do you ever de-seed them?
Do I ever de-seed them like the raspberry jam?
Yeah,
What
because that's a
what you can do is you can get a metal sieve and take a rubber spatula and just pass it through to de-seed it.
yeah.
But me personally, I don't, because it's never been asked of me.
Mhm.
I do make sure not to include the lemon seeds, if that was anyone's request. And for it being sugar-free, I typically add just a little bit more lemon juice. That's me on the personal side. But if, say, you're serving diabetics, you also need to keep that in moderation. So make sure you just get a list of people's health, diets, and restrictions.
And do not assume that all diabetics are going to eat sugar-free things, because I cannot eat anything that has sugar substitutes in it.
As well as don't assume that they can all use the same substitute sugar.
Yes, because for me, Splenda is not a good thing.
Splenda can be very toxic to majority of those who are diabetic.
Yeah, like Sweet and Low is the worst thing that has ever existed on the planet.
It is. It should never exist. I forgot its brand, but my family, they have 2 diabetics and they've loved this sugar. It is a vanilla infused sugar-free sugar. I've completely forgot its brand, but I find it all the time at Walmart.
I just use regular sugar and just watch just watch the intake. It's easier that way for me, but I know for a lot of people that doesn't work.
Yes, because for some people, 2 grams of sugar can make their sugar skyrocket all the way to 400. Meanwhile, other people can be like, oh, I take 30 grams of sugar and my sugar's fine every day, all day.
Oh yeah, it's totally different per person. Yeah, my mom ate a box of chocolate covered cherries and she hit like 550 and had
Okay.
a heart attack. Yeah.
And just the raspberry method, well, the jam method that I always use is an all-in-one, which is where you dump everything into the pot and just start mixing. Oh, Splenda's so tacky.
So when you're doing stuff for like an event for say the diabetics or people that can't have regular sugar, would it be better to use like the agave and isomalt versus Splenda?
Never just assume, because I know my mom, she has had hard times with agave. She reacts violently with it. Like it just skyrockets her.
Honestly, I would just use regular sugar and then like list the ingredients. If you're going to do something like if you're going to make a diabetic one, like with whatever sugar substitute, just let them, I mean, because like we can all make our own choices. So like,
Yeah.
oh no, that's really bad for me. Oh, that's poison.
Yeah.
Just let us know. I think is really.
You're never going to be able to accommodate everybody.
Yeah,
So yes,
definitely.
having the ingredients is the most important thing.
Yeah, like I know I'm
Yes.
not going to be able to make for every specific person, but I'd like to try to have something optional for those people, if that makes sense.
It's nice, but as
It
someone
is
with
always a
restricted
friendly
diet,
gesture.
Yeah. We do. I do appreciate your camera. I feel like you're like right in it. Is your camera gonna fog up?
No, actually, which is great. As you see, Splenda cooks a whole lot faster. With that 43 grams, it's a whole lot much thicker than my first jam that I made already. I don't even have to check it. It's literally just stuck to my whisk. And it cooked a whole lot faster too. And when you use substitute sugars that are a whole lot lighter in consistency and weight and volume, you have to make sure to go fast. If not, I don't know if you saw it, I pulled up like a clump of sugar that was just stuck together, and I had to bash that, and like I had to make sure it was going to go down. If not, just remove it. Do not use it. That's just a mouthful of sugar right there. This is our sugar-free version. And like Miss Luminary Alona asked, if you want to de-seed it, just make sure you get like a metal sieve and you sieve the seeds through, because some people can also be texture intolerant. I am no exception. I hate extremely grainy things. I typically don't like things like quinoa bother my sense, and it can actually send some people into sensory overload. So you're never going to be able to accommodate 100% of people, but just make sure you list the ingredients. Make sure you having the option is nice. Always, like if you know someone who is diabetic, be like, hey, this is a diabetic one, and here's the non-diabetic one. I made 2 just in case. It's always nice to have that, but some people will always make their own decision and be like, sugar. I don't know. I get very easily nervous on camera, even though y'all can't see my face.
You're doing great. It's cool. Just take a breath.
You're motivating me to go try this. I have a bunch of cranberries and I got a bunch of blueberries.
Oh God, I want to.
Oh my gosh, that sounds so good.
They're frozen, so I guess I would. Would you recommend thawing berries first, or just putting them directly from being frozen?
Thaw them before you start this. If not, your sugar will turn into a caramel before it actually turns into a jam.
No way! I want caramel jam.
Caramel jam? I could try one actually.
No, I don't want to make. That's
No, I literally have the ingredients just in case for this. Actually.
I like watching things made, so I'm okay with that.
sure.
All right, a caramel raspberry jam they've asked.
Makes me wish I could eat raspberries, but I can't anymore. So.
Oh no.
I am allergic to them now.
No bueno. So who here knows how to do a simple caramel?
I suppose you mean other than by boiling a can of condensed milk.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, yeah, that's how I do it.
Simple caramels actually, the original way is literally just cooking sugar, actually.
I've tried it before. It just hasn't worked out very well. I can do syrup though. I can make a syrup.
Do you mix your sugar when you're doing it?
I don't remember. It's been a long time.
I will show you how to make a simple. Lost y'all. Oh. Sorry about that one. I completely forgot my sugar was holding the camera down. Let me get something else. So caramel is a whole lot sweeter than just regular sugar because you're cooking it. I'm going to go ahead and actually do a 67-gram recipe of sugar. We're just going to go ahead and start that. Get that out as even as possible. We're going to cook that on medium-low heat. And we're going to not mix as much as possible. When you mix sugar caramel, it likes to crystallize. I'm just going to weigh out my berries again, which we're going to go ahead and, of course, use the 283 grams. Our salt, just 1/8 of a teaspoon or 2 grams. And then our lemon juice. If you do not have fresh lemons, you can always use the preserved lemon juice that you find in those weird lemon-shaped containers. But never use like actual like lemon juice. Like don't use like lemonade. Don't use that. Because you have, of course, all the added extra things. You have the extra added sugars, you have water. I could start growing a lemon tree or multiple lemon trees with how many lemon seeds I've gotten today. Hooray! Now, it may not look like your sugar is doing anything, but it's going to actually melt once it starts getting up to temp. Now that I'm able to watch it completely, I'm going to turn it up to a medium. You don't want it to cook too fast because a simple caramel is just a light color and consistency. A dark caramel is more of a toffee. You'll start to notice that when you mix it, when it's still solid, it's going to start sticking to the bottom. That's okay. You'll start to notice it'll start clumping up in these clear kind of crystals, like right here you see. That's it turning into a simple caramel. I've never been good at making caramel, so if it crystallizes, I will have to do this a second time. There we go. We have our simple caramel right there. Thankfully, only what crystallized is on my my whisk. So while I wash that off, I'm going to turn this on low. Now we're going to go ahead and just add in our and now we're going to add in our raspberries. This jam is going to be a whole lot much thicker in consistency. Sorry about all of the steam, guys.
I still think it's cool.
And like Miss Calandra asked if we could add any vanilla, I'm going to go ahead and add just a little vanilla. Yes. Oh wait. Never mind. I forgot. We don't have vanilla. Power outage took all of my essences.
Oh no. Oh yeah, y'all are in Texas well, I'm glad to see that you have electricity, and I'm assuming that you have water. Good job. I'm glad.
We have very little water.
Oh no.
Oh no, indeed.
Thank you for still doing this. I forgot that you guys were affected by that. And
Why I went with what we could. Thank God no one wants raspberries.
I say that's good. In the Panhandle, we weren't as affected as the rest of the state, so I'm thankful for that.
That is real good to hear that you are safe.
Well, we're on a different power grid than you are in most of the rest of the state.
Yeah. And here is our caramel raspberry jam. I've never tasted this before. Get me a tiny spoon.
That sounds like something that would be good served warm on top of ice cream or pound cake.
With how it tastes, I highly recommend pound cake, actually. And the vanilla, although I don't have it, would be fantastic in this.
Yeah, you really had me craving something like that now. I'm sad. I'm in Florida and you're not.
Well-
Frozen berries. I could go make something. But in reality,
We have. Oh, go ahead, Miss Calandra.
I just say I could make something, but it's not going to happen.
Oh no. Do we have any more questions?
No, I'm good.
Well, thank you so much for sharing this with us today.
You are welcome.
Okay with this being posted to YouTube and the online academy?
I am.
Okay.
I will do so then. Thank you very much for teaching the class.
I've noticed how messy I've made my wall right now.
We
Got a lot of raspberry on it.
We didn't even notice it until you pointed it out. So you could have just not pointed it out.
May want to clean that quickly because raspberry stains things.
Raspberry does stain things.
All
Okay.
right.
Am I good to end?
Are we good? And
Yes.
Okay.
Watch you clean your wall. Have a good one. See you later.
Thank you.